Hello, all you people out there in internet land. My name is Britt Kolick. I use they, she pronouns. I'm a professional stage manager, and here is part 2 of my 6-month review. I cannot believe I have been in New York 6 months already. It is so crazy, and it's so funny because I have not spent a full month in New York yet, which is sort of crazy and also a really great thing because it means I am booked and blessed. In part 1 of the video, I talked about being booked and blessed in all of the jobs and professional opportunities I've had since I've moved to New York, which put a lot of my worries at ease, knowing that there is work, there are jobs, there are ways that I can make my rent and pay my bills and really start building to that next step in my career. But this video is going to be all about the fun stuff. This video is going to be about all of the shows that I've gotten to see since moving to New York 6 months ago. And honestly, I saw a lot more shows than I anticipated, and I think that I could have ever imagined seeing. As many of you know, I moved to New York and then 8 days later got a gig up in Connecticut. Great! So I was commuting back and forth, and actually while I was in Connecticut, right before Tech Week started, frequent collaborator, roommate, friend of the channel, hit me up and goes, "Do you want to see The Roommate for $50?" And I said, absolutely, book the ticket. So that sort of started what ended up being what I called like my birthday week. I don't usually celebrate a whole week for my birthday, but it just ended up sort of working out that a lot of things and a lot of people were coming into the city the week of my birthday. So it got to be this great celebration, starting with The Roommate. I was still in show at the time. I came home. My birthday was a Sunday. I did my matinee. I came home. And then on Tuesday, we went and saw The Roommate at the Booth Theater, which is sort of crazy because another show that I am seeing is also at the Booth Theater. And I liked it. I liked the theater a lot. This was Patti LuPone, Mia Farrow. I remember watching the CBS Sunday Morning. They did a whole segment on this show, which was really cool. It was great. It was 90 minutes. It was a very good show, and it, to me, showed the mastery that Patti LuPone and Mia Farrow have. It was so cool to just see them be effortless on stage and embody the characters, and just, it was funny, it was a little bit heartbreaking at times, and it was a good show. I've never heard of it, and it's literally, it's a 2-person show. 2-person, 90 minutes, and it was fantastic. Could not have asked for a better opportunity or a better show. That was on Tuesday. On Wednesday that week, we saw the Radio City Music Hall Christmas Spectacular, the Radio City Rockettes. Actually got free tickets through work, and I had my buddy Brooke, who was my director on Constellations, had actually hit me up and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in the city that week. Do you want to hang out?" And I said, "Absolutely." And goes, "I have, 4 tickets. Do you know anyone who would want to go see the Rockettes?" So I hit Brooke up. I'm like, "Do you want to go to Radio City with us?" So is Brooke and I went and saw the Rockettes. I have never seen the Christmas Spectacular. I have been to Radio City twice on tours. So I've been to Radio City before. I have actually been on stage at Radio City. That's like my humble brag. A Rockette is the whole reason I got into theater. I've met other Rockettes, and I've seen Rockettes, at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and all that sort of good stuff. But to see them live and to see the Christmas Spectacular was, oh my God, I felt like I was a kid again. It was so cool, and what they are able to do with like projections and projecting on the proscenium, and the fact that the Rockettes, their tap shoes have mics in them. So everything is live. It just was incredible. It was spectacular. They actually also had like a little bit of a Nutcracker segment, which is really cool because from like birth until the age of 15, we always went and saw the Nutcracker at Christmas time. So it always brings like a little bit of a tear to my eye. But it was really cool. It was really cool to go out with like 3 of my friends, and for that to be my first experience at Radio City as a patron. We went out to dinner afterwards. Brooke was one of the many people who did not know that I was moving to New York, so it was really fun to get to be like, "Hey, surprise," and to talk and to catch up. And Brooke is just somebody who I love and adore. I would work with them again on a heartbeat, and I just wish her all the best in her career because she's so talented. And for her to meet Em and Iz, and for everyone to just gel and get along was great. And the Rockettes are just, I can see why they call it a spectacular. It was so much fun. I could not believe it. And it's very, I think, sort of hard to wow me, but I was wowed. The precision, everything about the Rockettes and everything about that Christmas Spectacular, what Radio City can do and where they hide stuff and when it comes down, and having real ice skaters, it blew me away. Just absolutely out of the water, blew me away. It was a great way to kick off the Christmas season as well. And sort of the exact opposite of Christmas is Death Becomes Her. And I don't know if you can see, opening night. November 21st. This was a show that I wasn't supposed to go to. This is a fantastic story because, first of all, everyone in their brother that I knew was going to see Death Becomes Her in previews. And what ended up happening is my good buddy Kendall, friend of the channel, friend, frequent collaborator, on the 18th, on Monday, the day after my birthday, she hits me up and just goes, "Are you in the city this week?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm in the city until Friday morning. Why?" And she goes, "Oh, well, like Wednesday or Thursday, we should get dinner or see a show." And I'm go, "What?" Because my birthday was a Sunday, Kendall's birthday was Saturday. Our birthdays are like 6 days apart. She goes, "I'm coming to New York to celebrate my birthday, have like a little birthday trip. Do you want to do something?" And I said, "Absolutely." And my first thought was, "Do you want to see Death Becomes Her?" And she goes, "Absolutely, hell yeah." Thursday, I'm making like my third trek of the week into Times Square. It's pouring down rain, and I walk to the Lumpfontaine, and it's set up with velvet ropes and purple carpet and like backdrops. And I thought, is it opening night? Because I thought it was weird to open on a Thursday, but that's just me. So I Google it, and it said, yeah, November 21st is opening night. And I go, no shit, no way, no way. And I text Kendall, I'm like, "Hey, I think we got opening night tickets." So we meet up, and I forgot to mention, Kendall and I haven't seen each other in like 15 months. It was close to like a year and a half that we hadn't seen each other in person. So it was like a really cool reunion, and to have a reunion in New York City, crazy and awesome. And we go in, you know, I get my magnet, she's buying Prosecco, which is really cool because the cup's actually, like, you guys can probably see it's right down there. It says bottoms up on it. She'd never seen the movie. I'd never seen the movie. We were going in blind. I knew that it was a really good show, and I knew that technically it was going to be really cool just because the movie has a lot of special effects in it, and given the nature of everything. So, and to sit down and to get, you know, the opening night sticker on the playbill was just incredible. Absolutely. We were sort of in awe. It felt very, if you know Kendall and I, it felt very like, of course we stumble into tickets to opening night. Like, of course that is something we do. And this was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. It was what I think Broadway right now, you're either doing 90-minute shows with no intermission, or you're doing something that's like 3 hours long. This was perfect. This was the perfect length. It had an intermission. It was spectacular. From the opening number, you know, "Do It for the Gaze," Gaze. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Incredible the use of practical effects. Incredible the use of, I would say it was a video when Helen gets blasted with the shotgun and gets like blown away. Like, the use of video. I can't talk about the use of puppetry, but go see it for the puppetry. It was so funny. The music is so good. Oh my God, I probably haven't spoken anything about like the actual plot. I don't want to spoil anything. I think you should go see it. I am so happy it is having so much success and getting so much love. I also just want to say Megan Hilty is incredible, because I saw this on the Kelly Clarkson show. They were talking about her bio. She used Meryl Streep's bio in the playbill. And I just find that to be hilarious. Just knowing that information, I thought, this is a show that's going to be fun and doesn't take itself too seriously, and is just, I think this is what we need right now. 2 hours and 40 minutes, and you just left smiling and like with a little bit of ache in your abs from laughing so much. And I know people get nervous about shows that are based on other medium, especially like a lot of movies are getting turned into Broadway shows. This is one that I don't think anyone expected to be turned into a musical, and I think that's why it works. It is just absolutely incredible. Cannot recommend this enough. Redwood. This was a show I was not going to see. And here's the tea. I love Idina Menzel. I've been a fan since I was like 15, 16 years old. I had her albums. I knew every word to almost every song she's ever sung. I love her. I understand the controversy around Idina Menzel. I understand the controversy around her voice and her singing and all that sort of thing. And Redwood, I had really no desire to go see this show. And a young actor that I'd worked with on Mean Girls and on A Chorus Line was in New York doing, I think, college tours or something, and had gone to see opening preview, and I said, was it good? Because the ticket's expensive. Like, and I wondered, I said, was this good? Was it worth it? And they said yes. And their opinion actually, like, I know what it means for something, for a show to get like a good review from this person. So I thought, oh, this might be something interesting to look into. So I just started playing the lottery. What was interesting is usually when you play the lottery, you get the ticket for later that night. The lottery for Redwood worked where you would get a ticket for the next night. So I ended up winning the lottery Thursday night and got a ticket for Friday. So I went, it was $50 with fees and everything. And I thought for $50, I had a great seat too. Sometimes lottery seats just sitting in the front row, like staring up. I had like mezzanine seats. I was really fantastic seating. It was a cool show visually. It's all screens and then a big tree in the middle that's on a turntable. So sometimes it's not a tree and sometimes it is a tree. I ended up seeing this on the Friday night, where on the Saturday, the matinee was canceled, and the Saturday night, Jessica Phillips, who's Adina's standby, went in for the show. So she was actually sick the night that I saw her, and you could tell, but even still, it was pretty good. Look, anytime I go and see Idina Menzel, I will always be 16 years old. So I think I'm always going to be like an Idina Menzel like apologist. Like I'm always kind of just gonna like her. The show was interesting. The show was really cool. Technically, I enjoyed, because they actually climb a tree. I enjoyed the way that they added a safety check into the script. They're checking as characters to make sure everything's good, but actor to actor, they're also checking to make sure everyone is good and safe and secure. It's an interesting concept for a musical. It was like 90 minutes, no intermission, which I appreciated. It never felt like it dragged to me. Very cool use of screens, and I really liked at the end. I don't know where the orchestra was exactly, but they popped the orchestra up on the screens. The fact that they climb a tree on a Broadway stage, incredible. I think technically it's really good. It's like a 5-person cast. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. So Kate Diaz did the music. Kate Diaz is a young female film composer, and you could tell it felt very cinematic in the score and the lyrics. So I would be interested if they make this into a movie. I would really like to see that. I think that would be a really cool idea. But the fact that I got to see it on stage, it was really cool. I'm glad I paid $50 for it. I don't think I would pay any more. I would certainly not pay the like $230 that they were asking. I will say this is the first time I stage doored as well. You can tell I did not do a very good job because nobody signed my playbill, but I did get to be within like, I don't know, 15 feet of Idina Menzel, which was kind of cool. So I liked it. It's not for everyone. And I told people, I did like a little review on my Instagram. I told people this wasn't going to be for everyone. However, don't yuck someone's yum, and I do know that this will speak to a lot of people, and I think that is important and valid, and not everything has to be for everybody. There were some things that get to be very niche, and I'm glad it exists. I'm glad I got to see it. It was really cool. Let's talk about Wicked. So I've only seen Wicked once. I saw it on West End in 2021 because my study abroad had gotten canceled twice due to the pandemic. So all the money got refunded to me, and my mom said, just go take a trip to England. So I did a tour through Scotland and England, and I ended up seeing it on West End, which was incredible and so cool, and hadn't seen it since. It is, to this day, for better or worse, the show that when people are like, what is your dream show? And I always say Wicked. And I met a Broadway stage manager. I hopefully talked about this when I did a production assistant gig. Ended up meeting a stage manager on Wicked, and really cool. He's a great guy. And he had told me and the 2 other PAs, if you ever want to shadow, let me know. And I didn't hesitate, got on like the next day, sent an email to get that ball rolling. And the first week of February, I think February 6th was a Thursday. That was the day I got to go to Wicked. So I count it both as it was a shadow opportunity, but I did get to see the show, which is really cool. I got to see one of Mary-Kate Morrissey's final performances because she was leaving at the end of February, like early March. I had never seen it at the Gershwin. I have only seen bootlegs from the Gershwin. So it was really incredible. I can't post anything from that night. I did not take a lot of photos that night because I was there to shadow and to observe. I did ask to get a photo on the stage at the Gershwin, and that to me, I had to try to control myself. It was my first shadow I'd ever done. I'd never had an opportunity to shadow anybody prior to that, especially not anybody, working on Broadway. And to me, for better or worse, I was a little bit of a fan. You know, that is a show that means so much to me. That is a show that just, it means a lot to a lot of people. And for me to be some kid from the middle of a cornfield to stand on that stage and to walk across that stage, it was really cool. I got to sit and I've never shadowed before, so this is really what happens is I was sat next to the stage manager who was at his desk in the booth, and he gave me a copy of the prompt book, which was so cool. He gave me a copy of the prompt book, and he gave me a binder that was full of paperwork. Holy shit, the paperwork's immaculate. Like, I was sort of sitting there giddy, like going through it all. And any question was on the table, which was really cool. No question was too small. No question was too big. I really love that he actually prefaced this by saying, he goes, I'm going to sort of tell you things, you know, in the very most basic forms. I'm sorry if you know things, but it's just easier for me to say everything than it is for me to just sort of pick it. I said, no, absolutely. And I do that sometimes with people as well. I'm like, I'm going to explain this to you like you're 5. And it's not because I don't think you're intelligent. I just don't know what you know. And I want to make sure all the information is as clear and concise as possible. So it was so crazy. It was crazy to watch Elphaba fly. Crazy. Sorry, you have some idea. Being in a technical theater, having gone to college, having some idea of how mechanics work, I knew roughly how it worked, but to see it happen live with an audience, with like a full house, and to see how that show operates, and was looking in the score and in the script, I should say, and was asking questions of like, oh, you guys don't call from a score, and they go, no, most people don't call from a score, but they have beats in there, and watching the stage manager and how his body language was, and the way that he calls the show. And I thought, I have a lot of the same tendencies, which was very reassuring for me to know that I'm doing something right. I also will admit it was very overwhelming. It is one of the largest shows on Broadway. It has been running for over 20 years, and that is a show that is all about maintenance. And it definitely gave me a new perspective and a new understanding of this is the big leagues. This is the next step. And tying in with the Wicked shadow, I got tickets to the next show I saw that night, Lucy Darling's Indulgence. I had gone down to the train station, was waiting for my train to go home, and was scrolling TikTok, and Carissa Hendricks popped up. Hey, we're gonna be at the Triad Theater. Tickets on sale. Go, 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 go. And I went. I spent like 4 subway stops fighting bad internet and service to get tickets. I got 2 tickets for Sunday night. It was like the last weekend of February. I thought it was going to be a really fun way to send me off. I went with frequent collaborator, friend of the channel, friend in real life, and roommate M, who is the whole reason I own this poster now. I actually made a whole video about this night, about seeing Lucy Darling and Indulgence. I actually got to meet Lucy Darling, which was, holy crap, what an experience. But as far as a quick little review of Indulgence, one of the best shows I've ever seen, one of the best nights of my life so far. Em and I just had a fantastic time. Holy crap, just it was an environment. Lucy Darling and Carissa Hendricks has talked about this as well. The environment of her shows is so cool. It felt very safe. It felt very welcoming. Em and I made friends with 2 women named Jamie and Ashley who were behind us. They were sisters. And we actually sat together for the show. I remember Em and I were like hitting each other and like falling over each other, laughing so hard. Couldn't tell you the last time I think I laughed that hard at a show. It was just a time that everybody felt safe and welcomed and inclusive. I think the great reason that we love Lucy Darling as a character, because there are certain characters you love and you love to hate and you hate to love and all this sort of thing. And Lucy for being gorgeous and crass and a little bit rude and very sexy and very talented as a magician, there was a level of care and a level of like you felt taken care of and you felt safe and you knew that everything was in good fun. Very rarely, I think, do I go into spaces, especially theater spaces, and get to relax and get to shut my brain off and get to just enjoy. And that's what I got to do for like 80 minutes. I just got to sit there and be a fan. I don't get to be a fan often. I oftentimes end up in places like with Wicked. I am a fan of Wicked, but I was there as a stage manager. I was there as somebody who was there to learn. And as much as I did enjoy the show, and enjoyed looking at the prompt, but it's like, yes, I'm there to look at the prompt and I'm trying to call the show along with the stage manager and just get a feeling for it. So it was very nice to go in and to just get to be a fan. That is, I think, a unique human experience. And it just meant the world to me that I got to go and just shut my brain off and just be so present. I never really get to be like present a lot of times. I was so present and so in the moment. It was fun. It was such a fun evening. To all of my Pittsburgh friends, she's coming for like a month in June. Like she's coming for like all of June. So please, please, please get tickets, go see her, follow her on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. Fantastic performer. Cannot say enough good things about Lucy Darling, about Carissa Hendricks, and about Indulgence. In the interest of transparency, there is one more show I will see before my 6 months officially hits, and that is John Proctor's The Villain. I get to go see it on April 9th. So hopefully EB, after this portion of the video gets done, we'll cut to Britt on the 9th talking about John Proctor is the Villain.
Hi, this is going to be fast and dirty and nowhere near as polished as Britt in the video thought it was going to be, nor how I thought it was going to be, but here we are. It is 6:10 on Wednesday, April 9th, and I got back about 2 hours ago from seeing John Proctor is the Villain. Yes, you do see signatures. Yes, I stage doored correctly this time. 6 out of the 9 cast members actually stage doored, which is really, really sweet, considering it was a matinee. It was a 1 o'clock matinee. We started like at 1:04. I believe we got done about 2:30, 2:45. No, we might have gotten done at 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock. Anywho, but yeah, holy crap, right? And yes, that is Sadie Sink's signature. I can't believe I'm putting that out into the world that I own this, but also real quick, everyone, super sweet, very nice, very lovely. Shout out to the person behind me, like, for letting me take your playbill and bring it up and get your signature and all that sort of stuff. Super cool. I love this playbill, by the way. Just the design is so great because it isn't just John Proctor's the Villain. You have the 5 main women prominently featured on it. Like, it is really, really cool. They're all screaming, which is super important. And yeah, I just think it's really well done, and I think that it really captures Kimberly Bellflower's like whole thing. I forgot how great the writing was, but I also remembered a lot of the writing, which is really cool. I'm so sorry to the woman next to me who was probably a little bit annoyed that I was like mouthing along to certain things, especially that ending with Miss Gallagher. I did remember that a lot. Yeah, crazy thing about John Proctor is the Villain, and I don't mean this to be spoilers, but Sadie Sink doesn't come in for a little bit. Sadie Sink, like, she's very prominently featured. She crushes the role, but she doesn't come in immediately. Last time I was at the booth was when I saw The Roommate, actually, and Patti LuPone and Mia Farrow walked out, and they had like a little bow, and everyone clapped, and then they went on with the show. But that's a 2-person show. There is 9 people in this production. So I also forget, because this show has lived with me since August of 2020. It is now April of 2025. So 4.5 years, this show has lived with me, in me, around. This show has stuck with me. Because this was the show I did during COVID. We went back in person in the fall. This is the show that I did during COVID. This was the show that I'm sitting back, all relaxed and chilled, like, stand by, go, hold, break. Okay, what do we got? Yeah, cool. We're good to go. Take it from abstinence. Thank you. That was the show that I just felt like I could professionally stage manage. That 21-year-old, and that is the 21-year-old I realized sitting there. I'm like, that's why I'm here. That's why I was sitting in that aisle seat at the Booth Theater at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, watching this beautiful. Also, Kimberly Bellflower's writing, oh my God, I forgot just how great it was. Just how great and amazing it was. It was such a good show. Again, the whole reason I was talking about how much I've known the show is I know everything about the show. I have done the show. it was really cool to see it with audiences who had no idea what was going on. So that was really fun, and I remembered the show, and I remember it in a lot of great detail. However, first of all, it hits differently when you're not doing it with college students. I mean, the kids are still probably like college age playing high schoolers, but to have two actual like adult actors playing adults, great. But yeah, let's just say Miss Gallagher, I love and respect. Love and respect. Visually incredible. If I was not on stage, but the set was so perfect. The set was raised a little bit, which was really cool, because then there's a scene at there's one scene at a gas station, which I always thought was like kind of fun and odd. And the way we did it was we pulled a projector down over a classroom set and then projected a gas station. They did a similar sort of thing, except, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you about it because I don't want to spoil anything. But that was really cool. The lighting design for that is chef's kiss. First of all, the scenic design felt like I wanted to go down and just be like, everything felt so real, and such like a real English teacher's classroom too. The projections were really cool. I want to say there were some tricks with projections on the little posters and stuff, because there's no way that was all just a lighting effect. And if it was, chef's kiss. The lighting, the timing, the costuming, everything. And it all felt 2018. It all felt very, very 2018, very good, very, oh my God, I was in love. And I cried a little, I got a little teary-eyed at the end as well. And yeah, Kimberly Bellflower, that woman deserves nothing but all of the success in the world. And I love that she's sort of overwhelmed with everything, as she should be, as anyone would be, I think, if they just suddenly their like play was like on Broadway and Sadie Sink, one of the greatest actors of our generation, wanted to do it. So, but oh my God, it was incredible. The Booth Theater was the perfect theater for that. It was intimate, it was small, it was very diverse for a Wednesday 1 p.m. matinee, which was really cool. I had a lot of people who were old enough to be my grandparents. I had a lot of people old enough to be my parents. There were a lot of sort of school groups, which were really cool. Yeah, and I was the first person in line. I was the first person in the Booth Theater. I was in line at 11:45 a.m. Because I'm crazy like that. Go see it, and I'd like everyone to remember that I'm a descendant of the witches who danced in the woods. I contain frickin' multitudes, you contain frickin' multitudes, and John Proctor is the fucking villain.
I've seen a lot of shows in my 6 months of being here. I've seen more shows in the 6 months of living in New York than I think I have in my entire life. This is my life, and this is crazy, and this is cool, and I am very, very grateful that I get to do this, and that I get to go see shows, and I think 17-year-old Brit who always hoped and dreamed that I'd be living in New York would be very happy. And I truly think I have a lot of people in my life that are very happy for me as well, and happy that I don't just work all of the time. I do go and have fun and get to enjoy the perks of living in New York City. That Broadway is right there. That's what I've seen in the first 6 months. Can't wait to see what the next 6 months brings. I probably said this in the other video, but having hit the 6-month mark is crazy. This was the goal. The goal was 6 months. I told my friends the goal of 3 months, and when I surpassed that super, super quickly, I was like, oh, maybe 6 months was the much better goal. And now the goal is, let's go another 6 months. Let's be here for a year. Thank yins for watching. Make sure to drink water, give grace, and I will see yins in the next video.